Then you understand the situation. Okay, yeah, but I'm curious, isn't this more like a level 5 war? As Brighton and Gabrea are technically separate, I can't call what might have happened a civil war. Then it's a technicality? Just a technicality. I figured Brighton and Gabrea were still very close. Well, look at you. You're all calm. I frown with indignation. I am not at all calm. This is essentially a level 5 war. Well, you look at it. You look it. I don't let up with my frown. Frowns all around, clown. This isn't all there is. How this might proceed largely has to do with what level I would give this potential war. Cyrus stops, and I stop in turn. We're now in front of a fountain. How do you even give a number to a war? It took me the entire time till now to realize that the city streets were deserted. The doorways are even clear of those ragged children who would ask us for pennies. Could it be everyone's listening to the address? Before I can drift off in this thought, Cyrus looks down at me. A nuclear weapon is one that can kill a lot of people and destroy a lot of things almost instantly. Excuse me? Honestly, Winter, what did you think I'd meant earlier when I'd said a lot of dying could be expected? I wonder if she understands this. What interests me is that Winter understands mostly, or at least Cyrus understands mostly to an extent, what nuclear war means and nuclear bombs mean, even down to a chemistry level, like nuclear fission being something that he has an understanding with. So there may be some physical properties, properties of physics, that are translatable between many, many worlds, the large universe at whole, maybe even. Universal laws? Hopefully. That'd be nice, it'd be constructive, we could work from that. That is order that we can bring to chaos. The music here is nice. It has a nice melody. But with all of the music that we've heard so far, it's the ambience that sticks with you. There's a lot of ambient noise that is played with and chaotic. Even on this song, it sounds like water rushing. The background ambience is almost more important than the melody being played. Honestly, Winter, what do you think I'd meant earlier when I said a lot of ink dying would be expected? I won't go into details, but it's not something you would have been taught about yet. I've dealt with it before, though. You're lucky. I'm not lucky at all. I'm not even in the slightest. Not the littlest slightest. What kind of thing is it? Is it magic? This isn't a magical world, Winter. Thank the higher-ups you won't be going to those just yet. They're less fun than they sound. Haha! That changes my theories a little bit. A lot of bit. I should not be going to worlds with wars either. Point made. You can check your codex for information about what we'll be dealing with if you'd like. I need to contact support and to update them anyway, so at the least it'll give you something to do while you wait. What is it called exactly? Just nuclear weapon seems rather broad, like spear weapon or fruit drink. I believe that it's a fusion bomb. While Barnaby didn't specify, the rumor I heard supports it. Also, it makes sense considering their reactors. A fusion bomb as opposed to a fission bomb. You forgot? We saw them when we first arrived. The country utilizes fusion reactors for power. Alright, the looming and shadowy giants that stand on the distant steppes. I remember not wanting to remember them. They were disconcerting. Like many other things here, they looked a mess. And unlike many other things here, they vibrated. I thought they were going to violently break apart. Anyways, fusion bombs should be under weapons. Obviously, it's technically not pure fusion, but most worlds can only do so much. Not pure? Well, it's a limited reaction started by fission. True fusion bombs are rather like man-made stars. Stars are beautiful. Not the word I'd use for those. Just keep the distinction in mind and read that fusion bomb entry. Right, okay, understood. I mumble this as Cyrus turns from me and begins raising his wrist to his mouth. He suddenly pauses, though, and addresses me again. Oh, and Winter, while you're at it, check out the appropriate entries pertaining to this world. Always mind your codex. Could save lives. Remember to keep tabs on it. Oh hey, We've got this codex down here. Let's take a little quick peek-see. Brighton, Gabria, Suli. Or Sewell. Okay, Brighton's a minor society on S865941. Sewell, with strong historical and present connections to both Gabrea and Ferdia, a site of several rich mineral deposits. It was previously a Gabrean colony, but gained independence 120 Sule years ago. It also shares a large portion of its border with Ferdia, and a truce has been signed between Gabrea and Ferdia considering the territory. Brighton was still a colony at the time. The society has not yet been visited. Alright, Gabrea, a major society on Sewell, is one of the 3 most significant societies on said world. Marked by extreme wealth and influence, it is the richest society on Sewell and has connections with nearly all other Sewell societies. Patriarchal monarchy with socialist leanings, government-funded health, education, welfare. The majority of mediations on Sewell have dealt with this society. Gabreans began as a nomadic trading people, quickly establishing a reputation for their amiability and good dealings. Trust was heavily placed in them for their reliability, and they often ended up playing intermediary between several budding nations on their home continent. So a lot of this is important. The most important thing is probably the majority of mediations are with Gabrea. So there are other mediators here. I'm not the only one. Gabrea is largely responsible for the technological advancement of Sewell. Their ingenuity and cleverness, mixed with opportunism, has pushed scientific discovery along much faster than the average system. They have managed to develop and act upon nuclear theory, powering their society and old colonies with rudimentary, somewhat experimental, nuclear fusion reactors. Their latest project has been the construction of artificial islands on Sewell's ocean. Currently, Gabrea remains at the top of Sewell society. While it has granted technical freedom to all of its colonies, it seems that they are still leashed in some way or another to their mother country. Gabrea has a mother country? Oh no, all of the colonies that it has granted freedom are leashed in some way or another. And the planet. Development, scientific, low level, rapid advancement. Physics, rigid. Plane shared with a couple other places. Isolated, yes. Visits 45. So, an isolated planet. Personal security note. Many species of fish on Sewell are poisonous to earthen. Avoids seafood to be safe. Oh boy. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here that would be really, really important to read. And I don't know if I have the patience right now to read it all. There's 12 oceans, all of which are heavily salted and somewhat acidic. This world has been well thought out. International conflict with regards to the ownership and rights to the fish sea life was resolved in mediation, visits 16 to 22. Conflicts with regard to ownership and rights to fish sea life. Huh. Well, oh, and there's been 45 visits total. Wow, wow, wow. 8s through 15. All of these are also different systems that are involved on the planet. Each contain patches of fertile land. These lands were once in danger due to war and conflict, but are now fiercely protected as a result of 8 through 15. Okay, there's 3 societies. The main 3 are covered here. We kind of have the idea. Gabrea, Ferdia, and Rosaire is the last one. Having a reputation of cruelty and bizarre acts of violence, it has used fear to rise to power and control its populace. Interestingly, it is the least problematic of the 3, and its involvement in issues can dramatically lower the levels of chaos. Wow, okay. Huh. How strange. So the most violent and bizarre and cruel actually has a lot of stuff in it, huh? Alright, Codex, cool. Was I missing anything in the Codex? Any tabs? Just those 2-3 things, nothing else to click? Cool. Codex done. Research done. Did a little homework. I look at my own wrist. Both of us are sporting bracelets, which look very similar to stylish and thin digital watches. We have to regularly hide them from view, as we are advised that they are considered suspicious-looking things, usually. Hey, it's Cyrus. You guys probably noticed there's trouble at this world. Yeah, more trouble. Got the cutesy crap. This isn't the time. I'm actually... Oh, it's actually what exactly? I look at him. He notices that I'm listening, shifts a little, walks out of my range and viewing. I'm shadowing this chick, and we're like freaking out, and I'm trying not to freak out in front of her. I look back at my wrist device, my ICD, Interplanar Communication Device. A name which does not actually cover all that it does. It also carries a database and tells time and probably other thousands of things. It's fancy. Honestly, if there's anything magical I've encountered so far as a student mediator, it's most definitely the ICD, Science Magic or some such. It basically does everything. It's how we get to other worlds, teleport around them, it can open up a tiny pocket dimension for holding things, an inventory, it's called. I think it's pretty cool. And it came from my own world. I would have never imagined. Right now I need to access the codex. Focus this thought. Open the codex. The device recognizes its command as it is linked with my mind, which is awesome. Tiny holographic screen emits from the device in a rather inconspicuous fashion, yet still in an acceptably readable size. I begin to navigate the database, searching for, well, let's see, Sul, Brighton, Gabrea, and Ferdia 2, I suppose. I'll leave Fusion Bomb for last. There we go. Hit me one. I think Ferdia's fine to leave on its own. Ferdia's wars have been numerous and frequent, but within the last 2 centuries, developments in aeronautics, made by other societies, as well as a fair number of truces, have largely put an end to this behavior. Huh, so like globalization in a way. With aeronautics being planes, spaceships, I would assume. Anything that flies. Shrinks the world down a little bit. Makes land not seem as significant as to fight over. This contains fusion weapons which are initiated by fission. For pure fusion weapons, see the entry on True Fusion. Known as nukes, highly destructive weapons fueled primarily by nuclear fission. Their power ranges of anywhere from obliterating cities to entire countries, all in a few moments. To expand, fallout is the result of nuclear weapons detonation, fission, or fusion on an area. Since the resulting explosion is incredibly radioactive, its effects will linger long after the initial shock has passed. Decades and decades of pain and suffering in huge, huge areas. It changes people in radical ways. Increased risk of cancer, mutations in survivors' children are all results of a nuclear weapons fallout. Besides the catastrophic human loss, there's social loss that is taken. This is amazing. I smile pleasantly in admiration of technology. Most unfortunately, my smile is very, very temporary. As it turns out, the fusion bomb is incredibly horrible. It is a weapon that will detonate and destroy everything in a very large radius with a disturbing rapidity. In its wake is a kind of miasma so powerful that it sticks to a place for several decades before dissipating. It causes sickness to those who did not die and greatly increases the chance of cancer mutations in the children of survivors. I'm affronted by the sense of unreality that has persisted since my induction into the Mediatorium. Mediatorum. This is not even something you would read about in storybooks. This is not a thing one can imagine. Why would you kill someone else? Why would you kill hundreds, thousands, millions, and with such effects? What does that accomplish? That said, I would not understand it for a long time. That it would be covered later on my schooling, and that until then, I would not be allowed to mediate wars. I need to understand this now, though. It may go down in a matter of hours. What will happen if I remain in this foolish ignorance of mine? My heart thumps, my stomach twists. I put my hand over my mouth and squeeze my eyes shut. I am not the type to freak out, but I am freaking out a lot today. Winter! Come on, calm down. We'll make it through this, and you'll be better for it, okay? I close my codex and I look at Cyrus, who has placed his hands on my shoulders. The gesture does not help. For some reason, it makes me feel worse. My heart tightens and tears escape from my lids. I feel the same feeling that comes when I imagine how it would be if my dad were to die, only the feeling is much more distorted and disgusting.